The underground is a large network of mining tunnels that stretches beneath the Sinnoh region in Pokémon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, accessed by using the Explorer Kit from the aptly named Underground Man in Eterna City. Despite being pitched primarily as a multiplayer feature, many people who grew up in the 2000s like myself will tell you that this place was amazing to explore, even with no friends in single-player mode. But at the core of today's video, we're going to be focusing on a single feature of this area, secret bases. Introduced in Ruby and Sapphire, secret bases have only appeared a few times in the series, and here in Generation 4 you can place one down by using a digger drill pretty much anywhere along the cave walls. And of course, like with Generation 3, this means there's a huge list of decorations to populate our personal cavern, known as goods in this region. And if you like what you're about to see, I would highly recommend subscribing to this channel. I love exploring these Pokemon deep dives, and I've got some extremely cool projects in the works that you'll want to see. I want to push and see if we can reach 100,000 subscribers by this time next year, so it'll really help me out. To start us off, there's a few goods that can be obtained from the Underground Man himself. After making a secret base as one of his tutorial tasks, he'll start us off with a plain table, wooden chair, small bookshelf, Baniri doll, and a doll matching whatever starter we chose at the beginning of the game, Turtwig in my case. These are the only goods we'll be getting for free, however. Before we leave Underground Man for good, there are 4 more goods he can award us. You may have noticed next to the PC in our base we have a little flag, and fittingly this means we can play Capture the Flag with anyone who connects to us in the underground by finding their secret base. Once we grab their flag and return it to our PC, as we capture more flags, our PC will level up, granting us the ability to remove more of these big boulders and free up more floor space within our base. Alongside these upgrades, we can return to the Underground Man and receive a colored gem for each level. After 1 flag, we can get the pink Pretty gem. After 3 flags, we receive the yellow Shiny gem. 10 flags nets us the green Mystic gem. And finally, after maxing out our PC's level at 50 flags, we obtain the silver glitter gem, a trainer card star, and the ability to remove any number of big boulders from our base. While I enjoy a good game of Capture the Flag as much as anyone, 50 flags is a bit much to get without tilting the scales a little. And so by booting up another copy of the game, we can place a second secret base right next to ours, allowing us to run back and forth to rack up 50 flags easily and score all 4 gems for our collection. Real quick, if you're looking to decorate your living space with some Pokemon-themed goods, then I highly recommend this video's sponsor, Buyee. There's so many Pokemon plushies, decorations, and other kinds of merchandise that take months to get released overseas, if they ever leave Japan at all. Buyee can solve this by allowing you to order from Japanese auction sites and retailers such as Mercari and Yahoo Auctions Japan, and once they arrive at their warehouses, they'll ship them over to you internationally. You can really find all sorts of things with this service, like this giant Snorlax plush, which appears as a decoration item in every generation that has them. And best of all, things are often cheaper than they would be to import internationally. If this sounds like a good deal to you, check out Buyee with my affiliate link in the description to get 10% off your first purchase. And thanks to Buyee for sponsoring this video. Speaking of buying decorations, our next stop is Veilstone City, and more specifically, Veilstone Department Store. On the 4th floor, we can buy the yellow cushion, cupboard, TV, refrigerator, and pretty sink from the top cashier, and the Munchlax, Bonsly, Mime Jr., Mantike, Weasel, and Chatot dolls from the bottom cashier. Luckily for everyone involved, there's no esoteric mystery regarding this department store to solve, so with 11 new goods, we're off to Hearthome City. Standing just south of the Pokemon Center here is another man named for his exact and only function, Mr. Goods. A self-proclaimed purveyor of rarities, he has a long list of achievements of varying difficulties with a rare good as a reward for each. Some of these are extremely easy. After defeating all 8 gyms, he'll give the player a gym statue, and for connecting to Nintendo Wi-Fi connection for the first time, he will award a globe. While this means that this good is no longer officially available, the DNS trick servers still work just fine to fulfill this criteria. A step up from those 2 easy quests, Mr. Goods has a reward for beating each of the Master Rank Pokemon contests here in Hearthome City for the first time. The Cool Cup, Beauty Cup, Cute Cup, Clever Cup, and Tough Cup are all relatively easy to earn, but could be challenging if you don't know much about contests. Luckily, having beaten all of these contests numerous times to earn their ribbons, we have no issue claiming their respective decorations. Lastly, Mr. Goods has a set of decorations awarded for doing various things in the underground 100 times each. The blue crystal is awarded after meeting 100 players, which may sound daunting, but anyone familiar with encountering Spiritomb in these games knows there's a workaround. When you enter your secret base and close the door to decorate, or leave the underground entirely, you are disconnected from the rest of the players. This means that when you re-emerge, any other players you talk to will count towards your total players met, even if you've already talked to them before. So by entering our secret base over and over and talking to another player stationed right outside, this one isn't too much trouble. The pink crystal is awarded for gifting 100 goods to other players in the underground. Giving goods is pretty straightforward. While talking to another player, you can offer up one of your goods as a gift. The game will prevent you from gifting anything one of a kind though, saying it's too important. And weirdly, the game will also stop you from gifting dolls, even if it's possible to get multiple of them. There's also a weird time penalty where you can't trade goods for 24 hours if you reset the game while in the underground, and the other player will simply decline your offer and say see you tomorrow. So that's odd. Since they're the cheapest option we have, buying 100 yellow cushions from the Veilstone department store is an easy way to earn this crystal, as we can withdraw up to 40 of them at a time from our underground PC, and hand them off to another save file to get credited for being such a generous soul. The yellow crystal is a bit more mean-spirited, requiring the player to trap another player 100 times. Traps spawn around the underground naturally, so by digging them up we can lay out a string of traps and then have another save file run over them to earn hits on our trainer card. Unfortunately, traps are one-time use, so we'll have to go around to lots of dig spots to find more to earn this good. Luckily, we already have to do that for what's arguably the most grueling of Mr. Goods' challenges, the red crystal. While digging in the underground, you may notice Pokémon fossils mixed in with the other items you dig up. While this is a nice little uncommon bonus for most players, this is our primary target for our last quest, digging up 100 fossils total. Keep in mind that any given dig spot here has anywhere from 2 to 4 items, and of those it's decently rare to find a Pokémon fossil. In order to make sure we don't miss any, I like to dig in a center rectangle 2 tiles away from the edge. Fossils are quite large, so we can't waste our limited moves on spots where we know fossils can't hide. Of the 7 fossils we can find, the rare bone is the smallest and easiest to miss. Luckily, the ends of the rare bones stick out 3 tiles wide, and so by digging out this area we'll be able to spot any that are hiding along the edge, and spot any of the larger fossils no matter where they're placed. Even with a strategy in place, it's down to luck if we find any fossils, and it takes weeks of mining every dig spot we can find before we finally unearth enough fossils to earn the red crystal, our final good from Mr. Goods. Interestingly, Mr. Goods has 3 unused lines of dialogue for awarding a set of 3 trophies after the player has set a record of 20, 50, and 100 wins in the battle tower respectively. Unlike the lines, these trophies don't actually go unused, instead being awarded by Sinnoh's battle tower by an attendant right after the player leaves a battle room with enough wins. Speaking of the battle tower, some of you may have been wondering where the Johto remakes were in all of this, Gold and Silver being the games that introduced decorations in the first place after all. Unfortunately, the myriad decorations from Generation 2 don't make a return appearance in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but there are these 3 trophies for the player's room, similar to the 2 trophies you could earn from Pokémon Stadium back in the original games. Regrettably, this means we have to do a 100 streak in both the Sinnoh and Johto battle towers separately, and even more cruelly, it has to be singles, so I can't even do 1 streak on both games with multi-battles or at least use a cheesy strategy in doubles. For this Herculean task, I went with Garchomp, Metagross, and Suicune, the classic Dragonsteel water team that I've used while gathering ribbons in the past. And thankfully, it brought us to victory after only a few grueling weeks of nothing but tedious battles, awarding us the bronze, silver, and gold trophies for our efforts. This last group of goods is not placed here for its difficulty, but more for its enormity. Throughout the underground, you can stumble across these hikers who deal in the various spheres that you can dig up during the mining minigame. One set of hikers will allow you to sell goods you have for spheres, one will take spheres and give you traps, and more importantly for us, one will take spheres and give you goods, and a huge variety at that. Spheres come in 5 types: red, blue, green, prism, and pale. The first 3 are extremely common while mining, to the point where it's more notable when you don't find any. Prism and pale spheres are a bit rarer, but also found at smaller sizes than the common types. Size is very important, as most goods require spheres larger than the ones the player can dig up. To grow spheres, all it takes is burying them in one spot and then letting them slowly grow beneath the earth. Common spheres will grow by 3 to 4 per day, and prism and pale spheres will grow by 1 to 2. You will want spheres as large as possible, as there is slight variation in the prices of the goods the hikers can ask for, and some of them can ask for spheres as large as 99 for certain goods. Luckily for us, I have a huge stash of spheres I buried as a kid, so once we've dug them up, we can get to shopping. The map has 8 hikers that hand out goods. The closest entrances with fly points to these hikers are here in Twinleaf Town, Pastoria City, Sunyshore City, Eterna City, Veilstone City, Snowpoint City, the Resort Area, and finally one that is only accessible from Full Moon or New Moon Island. Unfortunately, these 8 hikers don't immediately have every single good we're looking to buy. In fact, each of them only has 5 goods per day, and will rotate their selection at midnight. This means in order to get all 88 decorations only found by trading with these hikers, including the 2 starter dolls we didn't receive from the Underground Man, we set the clock to 11:59, boot up the game, wait until midnight rolls over, and then check all 8 hikers to see if they have any new goods for sale. Since there are way too many to display at once, I'll break down our haul by which kind of sphere is required. With red spheres, we're able to buy the blue cushion, trash can, cardboard box, crate, potted plant, red bike, smoke tool, big smoke tool, rock ball tool, ember tool, fire tool, Charmander doll, Cyndaquil doll, Torchic doll, Chimchar doll, Plusle doll, Meowth doll, and Snorlax doll. For those curious, tools are reusable versions of traps that you can lay in your secret base, excluding the move and hurl traps, which you could use to softlock yourself. Also worth mentioning, tools and dolls of Pokemon not found in the Sinnoh Pokedex require the player to obtain the National Dex before they'll appear for trade. With green spheres, we can buy the big bookshelf, research shelf, bike rack, shop shelf, display shelf, wood dresser, pink dresser, vending machine, green bike, leaf tool, flower tool, Bulbasaur doll, Chikorita doll, Trico doll, Wobbuffet doll, Skitty doll, bonsai, dainty flowers, lovely flowers, pretty flowers, and lavish flowers. Using blue spheres gives us the big table, small table, long table, wide table, poke table, feathery bed, hole tool, pit tool, foam tool, bubble tool, Squirtle doll, Totodile doll, Mudkip doll, Piplup doll, Minun doll, Glameow doll, Wailord doll, Drifloon doll, and wide sofa. Pale spheres allow us to obtain the container, oil drum, big oil drum, poke flower, binoculars, red tent, blue tent, clear tent, alert tool 1, alert tool 2, alert tool 3, alert tool 4, Pikachu doll, Clefairy doll, Jigglypuff doll, Happiny doll, and Pachirisu doll. Finally, using prism spheres, we can acquire the Iron Beam, Healing Machine, Lab Machine, Test Machine, Game System, Maze Block 1, Maze Block 2, Maze Block 3, Maze Block 4, Maze Block 5, and Weavile doll. Of the decorations, these maze blocks are definitely one of the more fun ones to play around with. Each one is blocked on one side, with the 5th being fully unblocked. With enough of these and some tools placed down, you could make a very tricky secret base for someone to steal a flag from. But of course, that couldn't be the end of things, now could it? Every time I go looking for every decoration in one of these games, there ends up being something standing in my way. Whether it be esoteric, poorly understood game mechanics, or the game quite literally being programmed to never give me the item I want. As it turns out, Generation 4 has a handful of unobtainable decorations. So what would it take to obtain them? The first is this Lucario doll, which was technically made available at one event, the exciting Lucario Fair held in May of 2009 in Japan's Pokemon centers, where it was distributed as a mystery gift. Seeing as I wasn't at that particular event, we can still obtain this doll using the DNS trick, which allows us to receive it from Pokemon Classic as it does with many event distributions that have since been resurrected. Unfortunately, this is the only one of these seemingly event-intended decorations that was actually made available. The remaining unobtainables include 2 more dolls of Manaphy and Magnezone, as well as a 4th tier of Battle Tower trophy that I am thankful they didn't include. And finally, 3 ornaments, one of a Pokeball and the clear and round ornaments, clearly themed around Diamond and Pearl respectively. So, we have a few goods that were never given out by Game Freak and are just sitting around in the game's code. If only there was a way we could just reach into the game's code and scoop them up. Oh wait, there is. Arbitrary code execution might be a familiar phrase if you've hung around this channel, as I've used it for all sorts of interesting glitches in Generation 3 and 4. I swear this sounds like a playground rumor every time I bring it up, but by filling our Hall of Fame with specific records of only Kakuna, followed by specific sequences of steps in the void using the bike, we can trick the game into executing the dots on our Poketch's Dot Artist app as game scripts. Using this, we can store the glitch with the postman in any Pokemart, who will then execute our script anytime we talk to him. Using this, we can set up a script to add the unobtainable goods to our underground PC, and then hand them over to our Platinum save file. Except there's one snag. If you'll recall earlier, the game will never let you hand over a doll, and as it turns out, these unused event items are also considered too important to give away. Well, if I can't give over the fruits of arbitrary code execution to Platinum, why not the entire tree? See, while certain Diamond and Pearl specific glitches are needed to set up Ace for the first time and store it with the Postman, once we have it there, we can use it to craft special payload Pokemon as well as a Wonder Card, those things that record what events you've received. Certain Wonder Cards were intended to be shareable across Generation 4 games, and by exploiting this feature, we can send this specially crafted payload to our copy of Platinum. With a few more steps with our Dot Artist app, we've enabled arbitrary code execution in this game as well. While the exploit that makes it persist across rooms has been patched, so long as we stay within this Pokemart, the salesperson here will execute our Dot Artist pattern as code when we talk to her. It's amazing how we've gone from executing scripts in one specific spot in the void, to being able to execute a script anytime we talk to an NPC so long as we stay in the League building, to being able to execute a script from any Pokemart even if we leave and come back. And now we can even execute our scripts across different Generation 4 games. It's truly wild to see how this glitch has evolved in such a short time, and it's even more amazing to see all the things that it can do. And even this might not be the end of its potential in Generation 4. But once we have Ace set up in Platinum, we can execute the same script we did in Diamond, finally obtaining the Great Trophy, Ball Ornament, Clear Ornament, Round Ornament, Manaphy Doll, and Magnezone Doll. And while we're here dredging up the decorations we were never meant to obtain, a few of the objects found underground are actually coded in as goods. By using our script with certain other hex values, we can use it to obtain the various facings of the secret base entrance object, the various versions of the PC desk that we can pick up and place wherever we like, and even the big boulder itself. You can tell that these were definitely not meant to be obtainable, given that they don't even have proper descriptions like the unused event goods. Unfortunately, none of the PCs are functional, nor are the secret base entrances. The big boulder also behaves a little strangely, acting as though you removed it when putting it away, but still counting as a place decoration, meaning the only way to pick it back up properly is to drill a new secret base somewhere else. But with that, we've collected 138 goods in Pokemon Platinum, and kitted out the secret base of my childhood dreams. Thanks for heading down into the underground with me, and thanks for watching.